Hello, welcome to LC Guitars. A few years ago I was watching YouTube and I came across a channel called Acorn to Arabella. It's showing the journey of a construction of a 37-foot sailboat in central Massachusetts by a gentleman named Steve. Steve started building this boat, I believe in 2018, somewhere around there. First by harvesting the timber off of his own property, and then constructing a boathouse to build the boat in, and then beginning construction of a timber frame sailboat. It's incredible to watch. It's very inspiring. The work that they are doing on it is fantastic. It's just a really great channel. And last fall, I got the opportunity to visit this boat. While I was up in the New England states, I managed to swing through, stop in, get to see the boat, meet the people working on the boat, talk to Steve and KP, who's the boat carpenter there. They were both great to talk to. They took me around, showed me the boat, got to experience it firsthand, what the work they are doing on it. Just a really great experience. While I was there, they let me dig through their lumber pile, and I was able to pull out some boards. So I thought, what can I do with this? And what goes better with a sailboat than a ukulele? It's always been a staple to the island lifestyle, to the water lifestyle. So I decided that I'm going to build a ukulele to honor the launch of Arabella, which is happening this June, June of 2023. So I'm hoping to build this up, take it up, let them see it, show them the work that they inspired me to do. So follow along. This is going to be a journey of building from acorn to ukulele. Most of the project is going to be wood directly from, it'd be offcuts from what they used to construct Arabella. And then I got a couple surprises. I have some wood mahogany that I am using on building my own boat, which I'm probably not going to be documenting. It's going to be a little 14-foot runabout, motorboat, nothing on the scale of a 30-some foot sailboat, but I might do some video work with it and take some pictures and document it on my Instagram page. But not quite the in-depth documentation that they do. But I'm going to use some of that mahogany from that project of mine in the ukulele, using this beautiful white oak from Arabella. This was used primarily, they used a lot of the white oak for the timbers on the boat, the frames and structures for the boat. So I got some beautiful white oak for the back and sides, cut into very thin strips. And when we get to that part of the project, we'll go over this a little bit more on how I cut the thin strips out, how I did the milling, and then how we bend the sides and how we form the back. For the fretboard, I'm going to be using a piece of locust. This is also a piece from Arabella. Stephen is using locust for a lot of the structural members on the boat. Very hard, very dense wood. It will make a great fingerboard. Don't know if you can hear that, but has a ring like glass. And then lastly, on the ukulele, the top is going to be undecided as of yet, but as soon as I get there I will let you know. And then there's going to be a special little board that goes on the headstock of the boat, and we will talk more about this whenever it gets, or on the ukulele, sorry. It goes on the headstock of the ukulele. We'll talk more about this, where this piece of wood came from, and the significance of it whenever we get to that part of the project. So today, primarily what we're going to be working on is just going over how I do scarf joints. Scarf joints are where the guitar neck comes up, and then there's a little angle coming down from the headstock for where the tuners go. So I'm just going to be doing a quick little video on how I cut this out, how I plane it, and how I glue it up. This isn't going to be so much a how to build a ukulele as it is how I build a ukulele. So plans we're using are coming from the Robbie O'Brien online ukulele course, tenor ukulele build class, which I signed up for. Very good if you're ever thinking of building ukuleles, classical guitars, acoustic guitars. I could not recommend his online classes more. They are 20-30 hours plus on some of the classes, in depth, how to build whatever it is you're looking for, musical instrument wise, stringed instrument wise. I believe there is one for electric guitars, there's a classical guitar, acoustic guitar. So check out Robbie O'Brien's online ukulele course. And this class is taught by Heidi Litke with Red Sands Ukuleles. She builds ukuleles, I believe, up in Canada. So that is where this is from. The class is held in her shop and taught by her. So a little bit about the ukulele. It's going to be like I said before, a tenor sized ukulele. We are going to be doing just a standard ukulele, no cutaway. This has the optional mark out for the cutaway. The fretboard is going to be locust. Headstock will be a little bit different. It's going to be my design. And I'm also going to change up the bridge a little bit. This uses a standard tie block, classical style bridge. I'm going to use a string through bridge with tie some beads on from underneath. The neck attachment that they teach in the class online is a Spanish heel. So the neck, the sides actually get inset into the side of the neck, and we'll show you how that is done. These plans can also be built optionally with a bolt-on style neck. I will not be doing that. I want to make this the Spanish heel style. But very good set of plans. Everything is to scale. You can download the plans off of their website whenever you take the course. Take them to your local print center, Staples, whatever it might be, and they print them out pretty quick and easy for you. Minimal charge. I believe these were $7 or $8 per copy, and I made 2 copies. One copy to keep in whole condition for me to use as a reference, and then one copy to be used, cut up and used to make the individual templates. This might be a little bit hard to see, but I've already done the layout, but I'm going to go through how I did it. We measured back from the end of the neck, 130 millimeter, and then from there drew a line up at a 14-degree angle. So that goes from this line out here down to here, and then just squared that line up. So this will be taken over on the bandsaw and cut along this line. Then this piece gets turned upside down and flipped and glued onto this back side, creating a nice little bevel. So we'll see you at the bandsaw. First thing we want to do is worry about our fingers when operating the bandsaw. This is a 3/4 inch blade with some very big large teeth, and we would not want to get our hand into that. So first thing we do is lower our guard down to where it's just above the top of the stock we're going to be cutting. Lock it down. Then I have a light over here so I can see a little bit better. And we're going to cut, and I want to make sure I cut on the outside of the line away from the neck into the headstock blank itself a little bit, because we're going to be trimming this headstock blank down a tiny bit after we get it cut. So and provides a nice smooth cut using the bigger blade. And now this will get installed about like that, and that will give us our headstock angle. So first thing before we glue that on though, we need to actually clean this up a little bit and get it nice and flat gluing surface. So we're going to be going over to the bench vise, clamping this in and flattening this out. Put a little bit of double-sided tape onto this block to hold it square to the neck, And now we're going to run a plane down across that. I'm going to clamp both in there so it gives it a nice tight grip. For plane, I'm going to be using a Lee-Nielsen low-angle jack plane. Any real nice 4-inch plane would work on this bench plane. You could probably even use a block plane, but I find the longer plane gives me a little bit better control. And if you make a nice clean cut, it shouldn't take you too long. Pretty smooth. Want to check her squareness. So we basically want these lines to be square crossed. If one side is out a little bit, that means we are a little bit of a skewed angle. So this side, the line is about 1/4 of an inch, where over here we're level. We're going to do the same thing down here at the intersection between the two necks. We're just basically going to plane that back until these lines are both the same. So start on this side, get it pretty close, and then just a couple passes over the whole thing. Let's check our square again. Getting very close, only off by maybe 1/16 of an inch now. So that should do it. This little bit of fuzziness up here at the end, don't worry about that right now. Once we get this glued on, we're going to go back through, and this will get planed one more time to establish the thickness of the headstock. So, but as you can see, this line is pretty good across there. Clamping cauls are ready. Clamps are set up. Got the wood ready. A little bit of glue on it. Now, these have a tendency to slip a little bit. So we're going to put it on there, hold it for a few seconds until it starts to get a good bond going. I am using Tight Bond Original wood glue for this. It's what I use on all my instrument building for a majority of the glue ups. I do use a little bit of hide glue now and then, and fish glue. But for anything structural, necks, bodies, just good old-fashioned Tight Bond Original I've found works the best. So we can get this lined up on there. Hold this a little bit. Like I said, you see just any pressure it wants to slide, so we're just going to hold that for a few seconds. Get our blocks there. So, going to be 2 clamps up across the top. So just some light pressure for now. Try to keep that from sliding. Then a clamp going down across the bottom. Very loosely at this point. Put an additional clamp here on the front. Sometimes they want to keep sliding no matter what you do, so clamp that right to the body, or to the bench. Let me pressure now we have will keep from sliding. There we have it. It's gonna be a nice tight joint. You can see our neck thickness here, and its thinnest point is 13 millimeter. We're going to go for a finished thickness of 14 millimeter, so we can thin that down a good bit yet, and then put our 2 millimeter cap headstock veneer on top of that, and that will give us our desired thickness. So we're going to let this dry overnight. Tomorrow I'm going to be back, hopefully things don't get in the way, try to get this unclamped, and then we'll start working with the heel. We need to cut some pieces off the back and stack it up to make the heel of the ukulele neck. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.